I introduced you to my family through your picture. I never thought a single photograph could carry so much weight. It wasn't just an image, it was a declaration, a silent promise. When I placed your picture in front of my family, I was not just showing them a face. I was showing them the person I chose, the person I saw in my future, the person I wanted them to know, even before they met you. My mother held the picture first. Her eyes, sharp with years of wisdom, studied it longer than I expected. "She's beautiful," she murmured, but it was the kind of compliment wrapped in curiosity, in questions she wasn't ready to ask yet. My father glanced at it with his usual indifference. He was never one for many words, and yet I knew he had already formed an opinion. My sister leaned in, her eyebrows raised in amusement. "So this is her." I nodded, and in that moment a part of me felt exposed, because showing them your picture wasn't just about introducing you. It was about claiming you. It was about letting them into a part of my life I had kept to myself for too long. "When do we meet her?" My mother's voice broke the silence. The question lingered in the air, pressing against my chest, because the truth was, I wasn't sure when or if that moment would come. Not because I didn't want it, but because I wasn't sure you did. I had spoken about my family before, told you how traditional they were, how they expected certain things, certain timelines, certain ways of doing things. I had seen the hesitation in your eyes when I mentioned it. I had felt the slight withdrawal in your touch. You weren't ready, and I didn't want to rush you. But still, I had taken this step because for me you were already part of my life, even if you weren't ready to stand in front of them yet. I wanted them to know you existed, to know that my heart had found its place, even if the world hadn't caught up yet. But now, looking at their faces, hearing their unspoken expectations, I wondered if I had made a mistake. Had I taken a step too soon? Would you see this as pressure instead of love? Would this make you pull away? I swallowed the lump in my throat, as my mother asked again, softer this time, "Son, does she know you've done this?" I hesitated for a moment, my fingers lightly tapping against the edge of the dining table. My mother's question lingered, weaving itself into my thoughts. "Does she know you've done this?" I wished I could answer with certainty. I wished I could say, "Yes, she knows, and she's excited to meet you all." But the truth was, I had no idea how you would react. Would you be touched that I introduced you to my family before you had the chance to meet them? Or would you feel cornered, as if I had taken a step on your behalf without asking? I cleared my throat, keeping my tone measured. "She knows I care about her deeply," I said, "and I want her to be part of my life in every way." My mother exchanged a glance with my father, who remained silent. He never interfered in my personal affairs, unless he truly had something to say. My sister, however, wasn't as restrained. "So she doesn't know yet?" she asked, tilting her head. I exhaled slowly. "Not exactly, but she will." My sister smirked, setting the picture down. Well, that should be an interesting conversation. She wasn't wrong. Later that evening, I sat in my car outside your apartment, staring at my phone, debating whether to call or just walk up and knock on your door. We had always been honest with each other, but I had taken a step forward without telling you. I wasn't sure how you'd react. Would you feel betrayed? Would you smile and say it was sweet? Would you pull away, thinking I had moved too fast? The screen of my phone lit up, a message from you. "Hey, everything okay? You seem quiet today." My chest tightened. This was the moment I started typing. "Can I come up? I need to talk to you." A few seconds passed before your response came through. "Of course." Doors open. I stepped into your apartment, inhaling the familiar scent of your lavender candles. You were sitting on the couch, your legs tucked under you, watching me closely. "You look like you have something serious to say." you murmured, setting your phone aside. I sat beside you, running a hand through my hair. I did something today, I admitted. Your brows furrowed slightly. What did you do? I pulled my phone from my pocket and turned the screen toward you. Your face. The same picture I had shown my family. I introduced you to my family today, I said softly. Through this, your lips parted slightly, your expression unreadable. Silence stretched between us, and in that silence I held my breath, waiting for your response. You stared at the picture on my phone, your expression unreadable. For a long moment, you said nothing, and my heart pounded in the silence. You showed them my picture. You finally asked, your voice quiet, measured. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I wanted them to know who you are. Even before meeting you in person, your fingers traced the edge of the phone screen, your lips pressed together as if weighing the words you wanted to say. I wished I could read your mind at that moment. Was this too much? Had I overstepped? And what did they say? You asked, looking up at me. I let out a small breath. They were curious. My mom wanted to know everything about you. My sister just teased me, saying it was a bold move. My dad, well, he didn't say much, but you know how he is. A faint smile ghosted your lips, but it faded quickly. And you did this without telling me first. I swallowed. I know I should have told you. I wanted them to know you're important to me. You leaned back into the couch, your fingers resting against your temple. It's not that I'm upset, you murmured. I don't know what to feel yet. My stomach clenched at your uncertainty. I hadn't considered that this might overwhelm you. I didn't mean to put pressure on you. I said softly, I just wanted them to see you the way I see you. As someone special, you let out a slow breath, staring at the picture again. Do they expect to meet me soon? You asked. I hesitated. Maybe, but I told them it would be when you're ready. You glanced up, searching my face as if looking for reassurance. Then, after a long moment, you placed my phone down and looked at me directly. I just need time to process this, you admitted. It's a big step. I nodded, forcing a small smile. Take all the time you need. I just needed you to know where I stand. Silence filled the space between us again, but this time it wasn't heavy with tension. It was something else, something more fragile. Then you reached out and took my hand. Thank you for telling me, you murmured. I squeezed your fingers lightly, feeling the warmth of your touch. I still didn't know if I had done the right thing, but at least now we would figure it out together. You sighed, shifting in your seat. As you held my gaze, there was something in your eyes I couldn't quite read. Hesitation, maybe even doubt. I wished I could reach into your mind and understand what you were thinking, what you were feeling at that moment. Was it just a casual introduction? You finally asked, your voice softer this time. I shook my head. No, it wasn't casual at all. I wanted them to see you as part of my life. You exhaled slowly, tilting your head slightly as if trying to process my words. Did they ask if we were serious? I nodded. Yeah. My mom asked if I was sure about you. Your lips parted slightly, as if you wanted to say something, but you didn't. Instead, you clasped your hands together in your lap, staring down at them. And what did you tell her? I hesitated, but only for a moment. I told her that I've never been more sure about anything. You blinked at me, a mixture of surprise and something else, something deeper, flickering across your face. That's a big thing to say. I nodded. Because it's true. Silence stretched between us again. But this time, it felt heavier. You were thinking hard. I could see it in the way your brows furrowed slightly, the way your fingers pressed together as if grounding yourself. You really believe in us that much? You finally asked, your voice barely above a whisper. Yes, I answered, without hesitation. You swallowed, glancing away for a moment before looking back at me. And what if I told you I don't know if I'm ready to meet them yet? I exhaled, nodding in understanding. That's okay. I don't want to rush you into anything you're not ready for. You searched my face again, as if trying to gauge whether I really meant that. I have my own fears about meeting someone's family, you admitted. What if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if you trailed off, shaking your head? I don't want to mess this up. I reached out then, taking your hand gently in mine. You won't, I said firmly. They don't need you to be perfect. They just need to see you for who you are. And I promise you, that's more than enough. You let out a shaky breath, squeezing my hand slightly. You make it sound so simple. I smiled a little. Because it is, or at least it should be. Another pause. Then, after what felt like forever, you nodded slowly. Okay, you whispered. Maybe not right away, but someday, I'll meet them. Relief washed over me, but I didn't push. And for the first time since this conversation started, you smiled. I watched as you ran your fingers along the rim of your glass, your thoughts clearly tangled in a way I couldn't quite unravel. You had always been careful with your emotions, never revealing too much, always holding something back. But tonight felt different. There was a shift in the air between us, something unspoken but undeniable. You're sure they won't judge me? You asked, finally breaking the silence. I wouldn't have introduced you if I thought they would. I assured you, they trust my choices. And you, of all people, should trust that I wouldn't bring someone into my world unless I believed in them. You let out a quiet breath, staring at me with an intensity that made my chest tighten. I could see the questions forming in your mind before you even spoke them. It's not just about them liking me, you admitted. It's about me fitting in, about me feeling like I belong there. I reached across the table, covering your hand with mine. You already belong, I said firmly. Maybe you don't see it yet, but I do. You studied me for a moment, and then, almost hesitantly, you nodded. So what did they say when you showed them my picture? A smile tugged at the corner of my lips as I recalled the moment. My mom said you had kind eyes. My dad just nodded and said, he looks like someone who knows what he wants. Your brow lifted. And your sister? I laughed softly. She just smirked and said, well, it's about time he found someone decent. A small chuckle escaped you, and for the first time tonight, I saw some of the tension in your shoulders ease. That's not so bad. Not bad at all, I agreed. They're just waiting for the day you're ready to meet them in person. But no pressure, okay? You nodded slowly, tracing absent-minded patterns on the table with your fingertips. Then, after a long pause, you looked up at me with a newfound determination in your eyes. Maybe sooner than you think, you murmured. And with that I felt something shift, not just in the conversation, but in us.